Hello and welcome to Starting Points, where one thing leads to another. Last time, talking about flightless birds and Allens. This is called Allen Life, and it's got flightless birds. But I'm going to try to focus mainly on animals that live in trees. Or creatures that live in trees. The book starts with Madagascar and has a selection by David Attenborough from a book he wrote called Bridge to the Past. He's down looking for rare lemurs, and we came to recognize the family individually. It's the first sentence that they include from that book. And I'm thinking, isn't that something? Yes, all animals have characteristics, physical features, gestures, temperament that identifies them. Just like we found with Jane Goodall and the chimpanzees, or the woman who fed birds in her garden, and they're individuals. So I wanted to sort of, because that's not a commonly, I don't think it's a commonly accepted view. The Seychelles day ginkgo. Now the Seychelles Allens, a cluster of Allens that are just a little north and a little bit east of Madagascar in the Indian Ocean. There are 1,500 gecko species in the world. Only 24 of them are day geckos. This is one of them. It is out in the day, whereas the other come out at dusk, stay out during the evening, and it lives in trees. This is a tree snail from Cuba. This one is somewhat circular, and it's got this amazing geometric pattern and design. They can also be like an ice cream cone upside down, and again, spiral as it grows. It spirals and spirals, and color patterns, and of course the snails that live in the ocean are famous for the shells they make. The patterns and colors is just quite remarkable. I don't think we give snails enough credit for what they can do. Now, other page that I want to share with you is a flying lizard. Its head is here, its wings are here, its tail goes down that far, and it glides up to 50 feet and lives in trees. And this is something called a colugo, and it's sometimes called a flying lemur, but it doesn't fly, it glides, and it's not a lemur. It's got its own order to itself. The mother hanging upside down with her baby has seemingly superfluous skin, but it's not superfluous when she's gliding and up to 85 feet. She's very efficient. Majestic Island Whirls focuses on 6 archipelagos, 6 groups of islands that will have one might have heard of. 4 of them are in the enormous Pacific Ocean. There's in the north, Japan. In the east, Bali. Bali is part of Indonesia. The chain of islands that are in Indonesia that sort of float down this way, and the Sumatra and Java, and then Bali down to here, close to the Spice Islands, close to Australia. In the south, New Zealand, and over in the west is the Galapagos, and this map doesn't get nearly close enough to South America. This is a big ocean. This is a huge ocean, and and the 2 other islands are the Seychelles from the Indian Ocean, where the gecko was from, and Ireland. Now, sort of a book for armchair travelers. You can be there in the comfort of your own chair at home. Tim Flannery was a traveler as well, but he actually went to the places, and it wasn't always comfortable. It was rough terrain, all kinds of weather, and this book is called Among the Islands, Adventures in the Pacific. From an early age, and he lived in Australia, he became interested in collecting fossils and finding fossils and working with paleontologists, and he became a paleontologist. And but his interest also is broad in that he was curious about extinction, and he'd come across in his studies various records about, say, a giant rat. And he wondered if it could still be this giant rat somewhere. There's a lot of islands and different kinds of mountainous areas, trees areas, jungle areas, who knows. So he gets this idea, gets some funding, and off he goes to check it out. He's very open-minded, and off he goes. And let's see where he goes to. Forbes tree mouse, one of the first things he wants to see if he can find. More common in the mountain forest was a reddish-gray tree-dwelling rodent known as Forbes tree mouse. They are fluffy-furred creatures that spend their days sleeping in densely packed family groups in tree hollows, high in the canopy, and sally forth at night to eat fruit, buds, and leaves. The entrances to their nests are difficult to detect, and it was only with the assistance of sharp-eyed local boys that I saw them. Sometimes the hollows were made in the vertical trunk of a vigorous young forest tree. The rodents somehow gnaw their way into the sheer trunk, leaving only a tiny entrance. Inside, the hollow widens quickly into a large cavity, which is packed with leaves, moss, and other bedding, and which is soaking wet. something the tree mice are clearly inured to. It doesn't bother us. These rodents have an interesting family structure. We invariably found the nest hollow to be occupied by a pair, which was sometimes accompanied by what looked to be 2 generations of young, the older of which was adult-sized. The tree mice never attempted to bite. It may be that these gentlest of rodents form lasting pair bonds and strong family ties, allowing offspring to remain with their parents into adulthood. Now, that giant rat, he's in the Solomon Islands. For each of the different islands, there's a map that starts off that area. And after weeks of fruitless searching, the team finally met a hunter who claimed that he knew of a giant rat. The hunter searched in a large swamp forest near the village because the only way to be certain was to find and examine one. In February 1990, he located a female accompanied by a single young, almost half her size. They were been sleeping together in a huge, messy nest made of sticks, resembling an eagle's nest, perched high in one of the largest trees in the forest. Well, he also has experiences with another animal which the trees important for are bats, which sleep in hollows in trees. And they've turned out to be gentle as well. It's really quite an eye-opening experience. Lovely, fascinating work. Well, thanks for joining me. Until next time, bye for now.